Have you ever locked eyes with a baby, a tiny, barely a few weeks old human, and felt deep in your chest that this little creature is looking straight through you, not just at you but into you, like they already know something about you that even you don't know yet? That moment, that strange goosebump-giving, time-stopping moment is not your imagination. It is not a coincidence, and it is absolutely not random. And by the time this video ends, you will never look at a staring baby the same way again. What if I told you that when a baby stares at you, they are performing one of the most sophisticated acts of human intelligence that exists, an act so advanced that scientists have spent decades trying to fully understand it. And even now, the more they learn, the more amazed they become. Here is where the story really begins. A newborn baby enters the world with almost nothing, no language, no memories, no understanding of chairs, trees, love, or danger. They arrive as this breathtaking blank slate, but a blank slate with one superpower already switched on: the ability to stare. And not just any staring. Intentional, focused, deeply purposeful staring. From the very first hours of life, babies are drawn, almost magnetically, to human faces. Not to toys, not to ceilings, not to the bright light in the corner of the room, but to faces, specifically to the eyes, and most powerfully, to the eyes of people who are staring back at them. Researchers at the University of London discovered something that stopped the entire scientific community in their tracks. When a baby makes direct eye contact with you, their brainwave patterns actually sync with yours. Yes, your two brains, the adult brain and the tiny baby brain, start to operate on the same rhythm, like two instruments finding the same note. Think about what that means for a second. That stare is not passive, it is a bridge, a biological, neurological, profoundly human bridge being built between two minds. And this is just the beginning. When a baby is born, they can only see clearly up to about 8 to 12 inches in front of them, which, not coincidentally, is almost exactly the distance between a mother's face and a baby's face during feeding. Nature did not leave this to chance. Nature designed this on purpose, because the first curriculum of every human life is learning faces, reading faces, and trusting faces. So when a baby stares at you, what are they actually doing? They are studying you. They are scanning every micro-movement of your eyebrows, the curve of your lips, the tension around your eyes, and they are building what psychologists call a social map, an internal model of how humans work, how emotions move across a face, what safety looks like, what threat looks like, what love looks like. And they are building this map at a speed and a depth that no school, no textbook, no app could ever match. Here is the surprising twist that most people never hear. Babies do not stare at everyone equally. They have preferences. Strong, almost stubborn preferences. Babies stare longer at faces they find novel or unexpected. They will stare longer at a face that breaks a pattern, a face that shows an emotion they haven't filed away yet, a face that feels somehow unresolved to them. Because their brain is designed to be a problem-solving machine, and an unfamiliar or unpredictable face is a puzzle they desperately want to solve. This is why sometimes a baby will stare at a stranger for an uncomfortably long time. It is not rudeness, it is the highest form of curiosity a human brain can express. And there is another twist, one that is even more beautiful. Babies also stare longer at faces they trust, at faces that have been kind to them, at faces that smiled when they cried, that came when they called. Because alongside building a social map, they are also building something even more precious. They are building attachment, and attachment, as psychologist John Bowlby spent his life proving, is the single most important foundation of every human being's emotional health for the rest of their lives. The way a caregiver responds to a baby's stare, whether they stare back with warmth, with attention, with a soft smile, shapes the architecture of that baby's brain in ways that will echo across decades. A baby who is stared back at lovingly learns, I matter, I am seen, I am safe. And that lesson, absorbed without a single word being spoken, becomes the bedrock of confidence, empathy, and emotional resilience. Now here is where the story gets even more layered, because babies are not just receiving information when they stare, they are also sending it. A baby stare is a signal, a communication, a request. It is saying things like, talk to me, I want to connect, I am ready to learn, I need more of you. Developmental psychologists call this serve and return. When a baby reaches out with a look and you reach back with attention, you are completing a circuit that literally wires their brain for language, for empathy, for relationship, and every single serve and return interaction is like one more brick being laid in the foundation of who this child will become. Researchers at Harvard's Center on the Developing Child have shown that these moments of mutual gaze are not soft, sentimental extras. They are neurological necessities, the raw material of brain development, more important in the first years of life than almost anything else. And yet, here is what breaks the heart a little. In our world of screens and notifications and 1,000 things competing for our attention, the art of staring back at a baby fully without distraction is becoming rare. Babies are still staring. They are always staring. But sometimes, nobody stares back. And when that happens again and again, the circuit does not complete, the bridge does not fully build, and the child grows with gaps in their emotional architecture that are very hard to fill later. This is not said to create guilt. It is said because this knowledge is a gift. Because now you know that the next time a baby locks eyes with you, even a stranger's baby in a supermarket, you have a small but real power to do something good just by staring back, by smiling, by being fully present for even 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds are not nothing. They are everything to that tiny brain drinking in the world. And there's one more dimension to this story, one that takes it somewhere truly extraordinary. The idea of visual preference, which is what scientists call the fact that babies have been proven to prefer looking at things that are beautiful, symmetrical, and emotionally expressive even in the first days of life, before anyone has had a chance to teach them what is beautiful or what an emotion even is. Meaning that somewhere, hardwired into the human brain from the very beginning, is an instinct for beauty, for connection, for looking at the world and finding meaning in it. Babies stare because they are human, and being human means being wired from day one to seek out other humans, to need them, to learn from them, to attach to them, not because someone told them to, but because billions of years of evolution wrote it into their DNA as the single most important survival strategy our species has ever developed. You are not just a person to a staring baby, you are their entire curriculum, their first library, their original universe. And the fact that they chose to stare at you, out of everything in the room, is one of the most quietly extraordinary compliments you will ever receive. So the next time a baby stares at you, and the room goes a little still, and time stretches a little thin, and you feel that strange pull in your chest, lean in, smile back, hold that gaze a little longer than feels comfortable, because what is happening in that moment is not small. It is the oldest and most human thing there is. Two people at wildly different points in the journey, finding each other across the space between them and saying without a single word, I see you. Subscribe for more mind secrets. Copy script